Get ready for a dose of vitamin T, because it's time for the Survivor Review, Week 3. Now, as you can see, I'm wearing all black, and that's because I'm mourning the loss of Angie on my television set every Wednesday night. I'm also really late with this week's episode, and that's because I'm mourning the loss of Angie on my television set every Wednesday night. That and because I've been really busy lately, but I promise I'll try not to let it happen again. Anyway, this episode starts out with a full intro. And if we're going to take the time to complain when we don't get a full intro, we definitely have to compliment CBS when they do give us a full intro. So CBS, good job. Thank you. So what's with this Abi Maria character? She's laying on the beach with RC, and she's like, leave me alone with this talk of idols. I am laying here. Cannot you see I am resting? My body needs rest. I am doing a whole lot of nothing, and it's taking its toll on me. Leave me alone! And RC takes it. I thought RC was supposed to be some shark from New York City, but I'm not seeing it. A shark would be cutting a crazy person out of their alliance. RC hasn't recognized that Abi Maria is a loose cannon. But more on RC later. Let's talk about Abi Maria. She doesn't want to talk idols with RC. She wants to talk idols with Vanilla Pete. So she goes over to Vanilla Pete and she says, hey, we found a clue for an idol. And when I say we, I mean RC found it. And she just kind of clued me in, but we found it. You want to go look for it? We need to cut RC out and find idol ourselves. And of course, Vanilla Pete is all in on this. Idol? Yeah, sure, let's do this. Now this week, Vanilla Pete is starting to show a little game. Not a lot, but a little bit. His strategy is to reel in all the weak players and get him on his side, which isn't a bad strategy. He might think that he's controlling Abi Maria, but I don't think anybody is controlling Abi Maria. I don't even think Abi Maria is in control of Abi Maria. Now, Vanilla Pete says that he's an engineer by education. I almost was an engineer by education. I was recruited by and had a full ride to RPI because I was good at the maths. But when I went up to Troy, New York and set foot on campus, I looked around and I was like, there's too many guys here. Where are all the girls? And I didn't go. Now, Vanilla Pete also says that he's a model by occupation. Now, when I was 19, I had an agent in New York City, and they sent me out on my first audition for 17 magazine. And when I got there, I realized right away that this isn't for me. So I purposely pissed off the casting agent, and that was my modeling career. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is because I actually almost went down the same road as Vanilla Pete. But fortunately for me, it didn't happen. Woo! Dodged a bullet. So let's circle back to RC. Now at first, I didn't really like RC based on her cast interview, where she was talking about, well, I'm from New York City, and New York City is where it's at, and I'm from New York City, so I'm where it's at. If I can handle these bankers, I can definitely handle these small-time Survivor people. It's the same thing that all New Yorkers do. They conflate themselves with the city that they live in, and somehow that says something about them, that they're great. By the way, did you read that article in the New York Times? That's not what it said in the New York Times. Did you read the New York Times? There was an article that you should read in the New York Times. As far as I'm concerned, Boston is 10 times the city that New York is. And it hurts me to say that because that's where Boston Rob is from. But it's just true. Anyway, back on point. Despite all of that, I actually am starting to really like RC. She's a super fan and she's tough. Now we can't talk about tough without talking about Mike Skupin. The guy's got the heart of a lion. He's got the spirit of a warrior. And apparently he has the paper-thin skin of an 80-year-old woman. A 17-year-old emo kid doesn't cut themselves as much as Mike does. Now, during the immunity/reward challenge, there were two standout players. The first one was Denise, and the second one was Dana. But there was only one MVP during this challenge, and that was RC. And this is one of the reasons why I'm really starting to like her. Now, I know that swimming is RC's thing. She swam the English Channel. Now, I've never swam the English Channel, but I have surfed the Spanish Channel. And the Home Shopping Channel. No? Okay. So the immunity roosters are back up for grabs. And who wins them? Well, let's do this Oprah style. Calabo, you get a cock!
Tandangadang?
You get a cock! So back at camp, Jonathan tells Jeff Kent, hey, I've got the idol. Basically, he's trying to buy some trust with Jeff. And the two of them sort of forge an alliance of sorts, where Jeff tells Jonathan, yeah, I guess I'll ride in your boat for a while. Those are the actual words he said, for a while. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not the kind of alliance I'd want to be making out there. I want the blood oath alliance. I want you to swear your allegiance to me in your own blood. None of this for a while stuff. Now, the two of them forged their alliance with a handshake. And apparently there's some sort of technicality where a four-finger handshake really isn't a handshake. That sounds like a fifth grader made that up. Apparently, it nullifies the handshake contract. Who knew? So back over at
Tandangadang.
Mike asks the girls if they want to go look for some clams. Now, at first, I thought that Mike was sexually harassing the girls. And then I realized he just wanted to collect some shellfish. So while everybody's collecting shellfish, Abi Maria is being selfish. RC was nice enough to share the hidden immunity idol clue with Abi Maria, but Abi Maria wants this idol for herself. At least for herself and Vanilla Pete. And after looking everywhere, Abi Maria finally realizes that the emblem on top of the rice is the immunity idol. So Abi Maria is bragging to Vanilla Pete, I knew it was that all this time. That's why we looked everywhere else for a half hour. But I knew it. So let's check in with the losers over at Matt Singh. Now Russell's having a real hard time. He's having trouble bridging the gap between reality and his perception of himself. Russell's saying, oh my God, if my tribe wants to get rid of a strong player, now'd be the time to vote me out. Listen, Russell, if your tribe wanted to get rid of a strong player, they'd be voting out Malcolm or Denise, not you. All right, let's get this over with. Let's go to tribal. Matt Singh pops a cap in this little cookie. So on a brighter note, let's check in with the survivors and see what they had to say on Twitter. Matt Quinlan tweets, Pimp, SurvivorTrev Survivor Review. Don't mind if I do. Episode 2. Follow my boy on Twitter. And boom, I get more Twitter followers. Thanks again, Matt. You are awesome. I know I said it last week, but it's just true, so I have to say it again. And Troyzan comes back into the fold with this tweet. Survivor fans, SurvivorTrev is a must-watch. Still the best recap show out there. Up to speed and one funny son of a bitch.
J-Voice
is back. Wow, Troyzan, that was super cool. Thank you. Now, this past week I got an interesting correspondence. Out of the blue, unsolicited by me. And I really can't tell you too much, so I'm hesitant to tell you anything at all, because I hate people who are like, oh, I got a secret, but I can't tell you what that secret is. That's annoying. But I feel like I want to share it with you guys because it's as a direct result of this channel here. Apparently, a casting director saw this channel and another channel I do here on YouTube. And they wanted to talk with me a little bit further. Now, like I said, I can't tell you too much, but I can tell you 3 things. Number 1, it's not Survivor related. Number 2, it involves a hosting gig. And number 3, it's on a channel or network you've definitely heard of before. So let's not jump to conclusions here. This is the very early stages, and I'm one of many. So it's very possible that this might not happen. Now, the thing that was really cool to me is that this was totally unsolicited. I don't have an agent. I don't have my fingers out there searching for a job in the entertainment industry. This is just something I do in my free time as a hobby. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because it blew my mind. And if I land this gig, it would be an awesome gig. But who knows? We'll see. Now that's all I'm going to say about this from here on out. So I'm not going to answer any tweets about it. I'm not going to answer any questions about it. But here's how I'll keep you updated. If I land the gig, I'm going to be on the highest mountaintop telling everybody, hey, watch my show. If I don't land the gig, I will tell you what show it was when it starts airing. Sound fair? Anyway, enough about that. Let's wrap this up. What you need to do right now is hit the subscribe button right up here. You need to follow me on Twitter, Tout, and Facebook at SurvivorTrev. And if you want more, you're just going to have to wait until week number 4.